Good evening and welcome to Let's Drone Out. This is episode 231, a Menace special. And with us this week we have Tony.
Bonjour.
We have Mikey.
Hello.
We have Andy RC.
How do you?
We have Curry Kitten.
Hello.
We have Greg from Menace.
Hello, everyone.
And I am Frank. Tony, why don't you get us going with what you've managed to arrange for us this week?
I just thought we'd have Menace back on for a chat. He's got some new products, and Mikey's been heavily involved in it. So I thought we'd have a evening with the Menace guys. Seeing as I'm Team Menace, Mikey's Team Menace, and Mr. Menace himself is here, we can have a chat.
What you been up to then, Greg?
What we've been up to? Okay, so I'll just start on a personal note and then explain a few things, and then we'll move on to the products. But yeah, I've moved to a different country. I've moved over to France. We wanted a slightly different lifestyle to what we were having in the UK, so we thought we'd give France a go. So we moved over to France. It took a lot longer settling in than what we expected. So if you haven't seen any new designs from Menace in the last sort of 6-7 months, the reason is because we've been relocating. But now we're all settled here. I'm back in the helm in designing away. So yeah, so tonight, thank you for having us on the show. And we've got a product we'd just like to talk about and go from there, really.
Cool. What is the product?
Okay, so we are known sort of predominantly for antennas, and what we've been working on is a frame.
Ooh. Very nice. I think I have one of them.
So we came out with a frame about it was over a year ago. We came out with a frame called the Physics, which was aimed ultimately at racing, and it was received really well in the marketplace, and a lot of people adopted it, and a lot of people using it for racing. But as soon as you release a racing frame, a lot of people ask, "Have you got a frame for FPV freestyle?" And a few guys were using the Physics for freestyle, but it wasn't giving them the most enjoyable experience for freestyle, because obviously the Physics frame was designed for agility and speed around a race circuit, whereas freestyle frames are more or less designed around center of gravity, balance, and just basically pure enjoyment for that floaty, flying, full-on stunt experience. So back at the beginning of sort of 2019, Mikey, who's with us tonight, he was he got in touch with me, and he was saying, "Look, Greg, I've got this idea for a freestyle frame, and if we take your slam frame, which was a frame we done about 3 years ago, and we redesign it with elements of the Physics frame, we should be able to come up with a really good freestyle frame." So me and Mikey had this discussion, and I sort of said to Mikey, "Well, how's your design skills? How's your 3D CAD skills? Do you fancy having a go at the whole thing?" And Mikey was like, yeah, come on, send it to me, send me the files. So that's what we done, and he got stuck in to come up with what we've got here today.
Very nice. Well, I've had the frame for 6 months, and Fraser Steen in chat just wants to know what it's called so he can bugger off, he said. Because he thinks it's going to be called the Tony frame. So let's tell him what it really is called.
You should explain why he shouldn't bugger off, first of all, maybe.
Well, he's just being silly.
Yeah.
He won't go. He'll stay in the chat.
Fraser, you have to stay, because we're going to talk about loads of cool stuff.
Yeah.
The name. Mikey, do you want to give the name?
Yes, it's Menace Dreadnought.
Dreadnought. Is that something to do with your Mikey Dread?
It's actually well, it's one of the most feared battleships in World War One. Actually, most powerful, most dangerous. You know, Dreadnought. It means fear nothing as well. So it's just a cool name.
It is a cool name.
It's kind of got a bit of Mikey Dread in it as well. So you know, a bit of a homage to me putting a bit of effort into it, I guess.
Yeah. See, Fraser, you thought it was going to be called the Tony frame.
Everybody in the team's been involved, so it could have been called the Tony frame, to be fair. So yeah,
I should have called it the Flat Earther. So did you go through any prototypes on the
Yeah,
way
many,
to getting it done?
yes.
So you'd have to build them up over and over again, fly them, and say, I think we just ought to tweak this arm a bit, that sort of thing.
That's right. So I give Greg the original design that I done on the 3D CAD, and so he got that cut for me, which he done locally in his house originally with all his equipment, and I flew that, and basically ironed out any problems that I was having. Probably flew it for probably 4 months before you know, any stress fractures come out in the frame or anything out over a number of crashes. And we made a few design changes and went from there, sort of thing. And tried another frame and haven't broke a piece of carbon on that since. So that's the one we went with.
I must say, I've had this 6 months and crashed it a few times, and I haven't broke anything yet.
Show us yours, Tony. What have you got on there?
Hero 7, obviously a Menace antenna. And what I love, Mikey, tell them about the battery situation, because you don't put a battery on that way. What's it called?
It's toilet tank style, which is my favourite way to use a battery on a quad. So basically, like Greg was saying earlier on, he had the Menace Slam 5, which was my favourite frame. And what I would do to it, which I have one here, a snap one, which they don't make anymore, unfortunately. And I used to cut the holes in and toilet tank it because I couldn't fit a GoPro on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the best flying frame I've ever flown. And Greg stopped making it. And that's when I said, look, can we do something towards the Slam 5? Because that was my favourite flying frame. And I wanted to get it flying as close as I could to that as possible.
For the viewers that might not understand the term toilet tank, can we explain
sure.
what that means? And obviously it's the battery on the side, but where does the name toilet tank come
right,
from?
it originates from Jack, but he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah, well, maybe it's not even a right saying, but
I think it is. Yeah, I've called it that before. I've heard it called that as well.
What's the reason for calling it that, though? No one knows.
No one knows.
You know, I don't know where the name toilet tank originates from, but I think
I'm glad it's not just me.
No,
well, I suppose it looks vaguely like the old-fashioned cisterns up on the top. Although they weren't often faced off at a 90-degree angle from the rest of the wall. To be fair.
No,
we go with that.
We'll go with the term anyways because we know what you mean. So you're mounting the battery sideways, but this somehow you're finding is better for the center of gravity for freestyle when it comes to things like prop wash and stuff like that. Are you finding?
Just all round when you kind of tighten a package up on a quadcopter frame, get it all closer to the center of gravity and. To the center of frame, sort of, it just seems to fly much better.
Got you.
But you can also have the battery running the normal way if you like on it. So, you know, it's got build options on it.
It does, yeah. You can have it either way.
Yeah.
I've been flying it toilet tank, and I must say I do enjoy flying it that way. It does feel much nicer than the other way.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels better to me. I don't know.
Yeah, agreed.
Something about it.
Agreed. I do like flying it. And you can, if you've got a physics frame, you can swap arms. So if you're out in the field and you've got a racing frame, and you want a freestyle and you break an arm, which I've not done yet because they're 5 mil thick.
Yeah, they. I have to probably stop you there, Tony, because I think on the very first prototypes of the Dreadnought, we were using the same fixing centers as the physics. But it became evident very quickly after the first prototypes that we wanted a system of much stronger arms, not only for strength of the frame, but also to minimize vibrations. So you get that silky smooth camera shots if you're doing that sort of FPV cinematic stuff.
Yeah.
So what we ended up doing between us was we worked out a system with the arms where all four arms, they lock together in a unique way. It makes the whole 5mm carbon layer where the arms are pretty much like one piece of solid carbon, making it very rigid, very strong, and very stable for videoing.
It is very good.
So yeah, sorry, it doesn't take the physics arms.
Ah.
Are there any other?
Ignore me.
Are there any other features on the frame that we should know about? So like, how well does it fit the new DJI stuff? Does that fit into it?
There's heaps of room in the frame itself. It's designed to take like your standard 36mm flight stacks or 30.5mm fixings. It will also take a 20mm flight stack, but there's heaps of space in there. I must admit, we haven't tried the DJI kit in there, but looking at the specs of it all, it should fit in no problem. The design up front, currently it's designed for like a 19mm FPV camera. So for the DJI system, we'd probably have to change it or do a 3D printed part for the front end to cater for the camera. But once that's done, yep, it should all go in no problem.
And RC Labotics asks, is it 4K carbon?
No, this one is actually 3K carbon. We stuck with 3K carbon because after the first prototypes, we're on to the second, and it turned out that this design was extremely strong. So we kind of stuck with that because it was working really well for us.
Because I don't actually know myself, like, what's the difference between the different Ks of carbon? What does it mean? Anyone know?
Precisely, I don't know.
I did know, but I forgot.
4K.
Sorry?
You can see it better in 4K.
Richard Warwick asks, what about 1080p carbon?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
On the same wavelength, Rich.
So
So you're doing a competition as well with something to do with how much it weighs. Is that right tonight?
Yep. So, right, for all the guys in the chat, let's just hold the frame up again so you can see it. And you can also hop onto the website. We've got it on our website now. So there's some clear pictures of it there. So, yeah, what we will do, let's do a competition, guess the weight of the frame, post what you think it weighs in the live chat. The nearest one to the exact weight of the frame, and that's the weight of the frame for the carbon with all the hardware fixing, as you see here. We will send out a goggle antenna pack to them.
I love that antenna pack. Very good. We already got some people in the chat guessing. So keep guessing, guys.
So what we got there? 112.
How many guesses are people allowed? Because I can already see 2 from one person.
What each?
Just trying to stop people doing every single possible combinations. Also, we should say also that you can use a decimal point and add some more figures after that decimal point if you want to get accurate.
111, 123, 99, 121, 98.
Yeah, I would suggest guessing to one decimal place.
Just to go back to the 4K carbon thing, I don't believe there is a 4K carbon. I think it goes 3, 6, and 12. So it is the it is how close the weave is basically. Think of it like if you had a 3D printer, you know, the layer height kind of thing, or you know, how much resolution. So you see the weave of the carbon. If you went from 3K to 12K, the sort of like the diamond shapes that we see would be much smaller and condensed. So that's what it means. But I don't think 4K carbon exists, or it's not a standard. If it does, it's 3, 6, and 12.
So I'm reading here. It says that it's the number of carbon fiber filaments in each like bundle of carbon. So
Yes.
the higher K is stiffer, but it's more brittle because reasons. But lower K is a little bit less stiff, but has more. If it
change
takes
the
an
background
impact better.
Did you change the background to carbon fiber, or has that always been there? I only just noticed.
Very good, Frank.
Very clever.
Thank you.
Has anybody guessed the right weight whilst I was saying that?
No, I'm looking. No.
Oh, is there a nearest?
There's someone
Keep it
very
to yourself, yeah.
That's the thing. If no one guesses right, someone is going to have to go through all this and decide who's closest.
There's somebody very near.
Yeah, I can see.
It's like, is there a recommended kit, or is it pretty much put what you like on there and it's going to fly good?
Yes. On mine, I use all-in-one basically ESC, and that's probably the best route to go down.
Probably is the best because of they've got quite thin arms.
Yeah.
So I've done the same as you. I went with an all-in-one ESC, and then it's got really tough standoffs, isn't it? Metal standoffs.
Have you gone 4S or 6S?
Just stayed 4S. Just because all my batteries are 4S and it's freestyle, I don't really need to change to 6S personally. But what about you, Mikey?
4S, just making transition to 6S.
Are you?
You can use the obviously the Menace prop skids on the arms; they fit perfectly.
Oh yeah, look at them.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Show us your stack in there as well.
See that
room.
Oh, yeah, there's a fair amount of space left over to do some more with.
Been through the wars.
Still going though. There's loads of space, isn't there?
Yeah, the camera has plenty of protection as well. See?
Yeah, I do love the protection on there.
So does the antenna. That's out the way as well, which is nice.
Yeah, are the 3D printed parts on the website?
Yeah, you can just print them off.
Yep. If you go to the Dreadnought page on the Menace website, there's a link there over to the 3D files on Thingiverse. These are the files that Mikey's designed. So there's the GoPro Session, and then a GoPro Hero, and then also there's the antenna mount for the Thrasher antenna.
Okay. I've got the 7 on here as well. Did you do that, Mike?
Yeah. I done that for you, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll run the 7 on there. I love it. Just even with the 7 on, it's still perfect balance. I mean, you just I just literally put the battery back a tiny bit.
Yeah, that's why I done extra holes so you can move it back and forth. You know, for 6S, 4S, or different weight batteries. Yeah.
What CAD package did you draw up the model in?
Fusion 360, Fusion 3D, yeah.
Fusion 360.
360, yeah.
Yeah.
How long were you working on it, Mikey?
A long time. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of had ideas before I started it and threw them at Greg, and then we obviously got in the team chat and finding out what everybody else was looking for in a frame, got their ideas, and then put it all together. But we knew from the beginning we wanted it to look like the physics, because that, you know, that's a really nice looking frame, and that's what we wanted to base it around. But I wanted the feel of the Slam 5. That was important to me.
Do you have a background, Mikey, in CAD, or is it a self-taught thing? Because I spent around about 6 hours in Tinkercad the other day, and I made a cube.
It was self-taught and a lot of phone calls to Greg.
Okay.
Every
Yeah.
night. How'd you do this? How'd you do this?
I would love to get into, because I'm thanks to NJ Tech, I'm really getting into 3D printing, but I want to make my own parts. I did make my own part using Tinkercad, which you can actually quite do a lot with Tinkercad, but it takes forever. But I imagine Fusion 360 is even more intense when it comes to making stuff. Is it?
I'm at the lower end of it, so when you're designing a frame, you don't need to, but you can do so much on it.
Oh, I know.
Basic to very advanced, and I'm nowhere near learning every time I use it. Basically, well, I think most people are. But there's a guy on. If you ever want to learn how to use it, Greg knows his name. Lars.
Lars from Fusion.
Just go on him. He's an absolute genius to teach you everything you need.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's just it looks so time consuming. I've got it because it's free, isn't it? If you're a student, and I open it up and I have a lump in my throat, and then I have to close it.
Andy, I think maybe we'll have to maybe put together some tutorial videos then.
Yeah, I seriously think that once you do one design, one drawing, you kind of get the basics of it, and you learn from there so much easier. So just spend one evening doing one of his designs, and that gives you the basics.
I'll have a go of it, because I really enjoyed the Tinkercad thing. Those 6 hours went by really quickly, but it's quite intense. Trying to get, for me it was for getting the sizing right. If you want a hole in a particular place, you got to get the measurements right and everything like that. But I did it. I made a little tiny cube with some holes in it.
Well done.
Got the basics out of the way.
They're still guessing in the chat, Greg. Have you seen anything close yet?
I've been watching avidly while you guys have been chatting with Mike. We've got 2 guesses which are very close.
So Greg,
yes, sir.
Besides the frame, how's things been going at Menace? What you've been working on? How's like the Pico patches and all the other things that you've been doing?
Yeah, cool. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's some digital FPV goggles on the market.
Never heard of them.
by a company called DJI, and they seem really good. So what we've been doing, been working with one of our other Menace pilots in Italy, and been working through antennas for the digital system. And I know Andy RC's been doing quite a lot of testing with it as well. I've seen some stuff on his channel the other day. But we've got an antenna pack. We've just signed it off for production, and it should be coming out in about 2 weeks once China kick back in, and as long as there's no virus stuff going on, we should be getting stuff in with these DJI HD antenna packs.
So Greg, did you, sorry to interrupt, did you analyze the very basic antennas they've got on there to see exactly what they did, and sort of how is your stuff going to enhance that in terms of it's going to go twice as long or whatever?
So what we were doing was looking at improving the FPV experience. So it wasn't necessarily about increasing range as such, because David, who we work with in Italy, he's been doing a lot of flying in bandos, indoor spaces and things like that, with lots of reflections and so on. And what we were discovering was that the standard antennas do hold up in a lot of situations, and they perform extremely well. But what we also found, it was more of a process of trial and error, rather than actually taking one of their antennas, taking it apart and trying to figure it all out. It was more or less of let's see what we've got in the range of our antennas. Let's see what we can use with those goggles, and let's see if it improves the experience or not. So tried all these different antennas on the goggles itself, and it ended up that we only needed to change the bottom 2 antennas to patch antennas, and what that gave was a much clearer image in bando situations. So, for example, well, you can go and see David's video. It's up on YouTube. And he is David Angeletti, if anyone wants to look for it. But he's got a video there, and you'll see him flying with the different antennas in a bando, and he flies, and you'll start to see the imagery pixelating and so on. But when he puts on the Menace antennas, flying exactly the same location, this pixelation seems to go away. I mean, I must admit, we do need to do further testing and analysis on these DJI goggles, because it could be that we may be able to get more from the DJI system. But what we've found so far, but by just adding these 2 antennas, you end up with a very capable system, especially in indoor spaces or bandos.
Yeah, the problem with the DJI thing is as well, after that I've been doing some testing as well, is that you can go to one location, use a particular antenna setup, and get great results. Take that same antenna setup to somewhere else and get completely different results, terrible results even. And I think it's just due to the complexities, all of the different methods that DJI have employed when it comes to, you know, rejecting interference and stuff like that. The digital world is so much more intense than analog when it comes to you know, trying to eradicate reflections, because it just works differently than analog.
Yeah, I would certainly think the basis of the transmission, you know, you would have a carrier wave, and then you'd have a modulation wave to that carrier wave, and the modulation wave would be the digital signal. That is essentially the same for analog and digital, but then what DJI are doing inside their goggles, that's the bit that no one really knows, and that is the bit where you could be experiencing you know, a different experience in the same or different locations with the same antennas and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, they're using this cyclic delay diversity. That's why you've got the 2 antennas.
Yeah.
I found this out. So it sends and receives the signal twice. In case one receives an error, it picks up on the other. And so, you know, depending on the location and, you know, certain reflections and stuff like that, you seem to get different results. But yeah, if I think you're on the right path, because when I did a video on what antennas that you should use with the goggles, and people chose convenience over like how much range that you got, if you got like a better signal. People chose the convenience over, yeah, I just won't fly that far, you know. I prefer that I could just sling it in a bag and it doesn't take up much space, kind of thing. So yeah, I got a lot of that in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about the overall FPV experience, and I think with the DJI goggles, they can do quite a range already out of the box. So you know, on 25, obviously that's a different game altogether. But at, you know, in places like America and that, when you go up to the higher power, then they're busting quite a bit of range already.
Mm. Can I just shout out MC Creations and who else just gave us a bit
of Demand TV?
Thank you very much, guys. Sorry to interrupt your flow, lads, but I have to shout out these guys. He actually said, Menace RC, you rock. Thanks.
Oh, thank you very much.
I suppose it'd be useful to know what DJI do, because I guess because it's a digital signal, a lot of their stuff inside is all about how they're processing that signal, how they're coming in with their various diversity sort of packets and trying to rearrange stuff. And I guess it might be possible to build an antenna to sort of suit what it's doing, or they could potentially change the way their software works to work with different antennas in a different way. But yes, they're not fond of sharing that information, are they?
Well,
So I guess it's a bit of trial and error.
It's not that they're not fond of sharing it. It's that because it's a product that transmits close to your head, it has to be certified by the FCC, and it also has to pass the CE, like particular CE laws. So when they've gone with RPSMA and left-hand polarization, it was because the antenna had to be if you look at the clause, of a unique coupling. That's why DJI, they don't want you to switch the antennas, because you're not supposed to in America. You can in Europe. And of course, people will switch the antennas. Of course,
I've seen everyone switching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, but you're supposed to read the manual, which we're blokes, so none of us do. But it does say in the manual.
It's a manual. Huh?
It does say in the manual not to switch them, but
or your brain will melt.
Yeah.
Keep guessing, lads. Richard Warwick's getting there with about 1 million guesses so far. And wins keeps going. Have we got anyone really close? Let's have a look in our little secret chat.
You are right, though, Wayne. It does like the transmission methods is only like half of it. What they're doing with the DSP, digital signal processing, each side. It's something no one else has managed to do, so they're not gonna give that away, are they? I don't think.
Oh no, but it just strikes me that they could potentially they might do something different with different antennas, because it's like, oh, we now don't have to prioritize something or other and trying to rearrange something and do funny pixelated things. We could use some different algorithm to do something else.
Yeah,
but they're pretty switched on at the same time. I expect the software to be developed over and over and over, and probably at some point it will say, we've noticed you've changed your antennas, we're shutting down now, or something like that.
Nah, I don't think they'll be able to do that. No,
we're reporting you.
They won't be able to do that. But what I'll say,
Ben Sweeney says it's disclaimer time. We haven't had that, so we should probably have that.
Everyone very well behaved. I should say,
as you're talking about all FCC things.
We should.
That. Yeah, so, Curry, you ready?
Yes.
Go.
Any views expressed by any guests on this show are personal and may not reflect the views of the host or any participant of the show.
Thank you. That covers our behind,
including mainly me today, who's coming up with wild theories about what DJI are doing in their software.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah. So talking of things you can and can't do, what just out of interest is the situation like in France, Greg, as far as FPV and flying goes? And are they a bit more chilled about it? They're just gonna say, don't worry, have a glass of wine and go do your flying.
In France, I'm not fully up to speed with all the sort of regulations or future regulations, but I would imagine it's going to be something similar to what we're seeing in the UK, or similar to in the US and things like that. I mean, where I am at the moment, I'm not actually flying with groups of people. We're quite isolated, so flying on my own. So I'm hoping to get plugged into clubs and groups out here, and then I should be able to learn more about the scene and learn more about the legalization and things like that here.
Cool. Are Menace working on an MCX antenna?
MMCX.
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 What did I say?
MCX. Sounds like
well, I'm dyslexic, so it all looks
MCX.
muddled
sounds
up
like
to
a
me.
rapper name, doesn't it? MCX.
A rude rapper. Yes. MMCX. UFL. Tiny antennas. Yep, I've got a design. I've been working on a design for quite a while, and as probably I've said before on previous shows, I don't release anything till I'm totally happy with it. So I've got a design. I've been working on it for probably a year, maybe over a year. It's a very tiny antenna,
Wow.
and it will be MMCX and UFL. I'm getting really hopeful that we should be able to do something and release this in about Q2 this year.
Is this on the goggle side, quad side, or both?
This could be on both sides. It'll be an omnidirectional tiny antenna.
Because if there's one thing I've learned about, doing videos on antennas is that people want them as small as possible. So that's good news.
Yep. And we've got some interesting alternative solutions for these tiny antennas, but we will go over that when the time is right in the future.
When can we
can have you back then? Second quarter of
Q2. If everything goes to plan, we'll come back Q2 and we'll talk tiny antennas.
Is that when we can also expect the DJI solution? As well?
The first round of the DJI stuff is about 2 weeks into release.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. So we're looking at mid February on that one, if all goes well with the production.
Oh, nice.
That's good. Nice. They're still guessing, Greg.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to catch up in there to see if anyone's nailed it.
I've been keeping my eye on.
Have you seen anyone?
There's one very close.
There is one very close, isn't there?
Outside of the FPV scene, Greg,
Yes,
how's your waterworks going?
How's my waterworks?
It's a bit personal, Andy.
Question.
Oh my word!
We'll see you now.
Yeah, that's fun, and it's a massive project because it's a water mill that I'm in, and basically converting it to generate electricity. So it is what it is. It takes time. It's a whole area that I've never really been involved in before, and I'm learning every day on it. So it's interesting, and very excited to generate my own electricity, and hopefully one day just switch the mains off.
You're not the only person excited about it though, because the videos blew up, right? I just watched them. I was like, this is amazing.
There's I can't remember. It's probably 90,000 people that have watched some of the videos, and when I started doing it, I just thought I wanted to do the videos just to document what I was doing for myself, and so our family can see back in the UK. But a lot of people have got on board, and I think it's really touched into sort of people wanting to be off grid and generating their own energy and energy storage and all that good stuff.
Yeah, definitely a niche, I think.
What's the name of the channel you're putting those videos out on?
It's named after where we're living. It's called Moulin en Pierre.
There we go.
So that means that's French for stone mill.
Awesome.
Yeah, those videos are fun. I enjoyed them. I
like them as well. No, okay. Mute, Curry Kitten, mute your daughter.
Are you allowed to say
away and mute yourself?
Out of 10. Out of 10.
5. Go away.
5?
8.
It should have been a 10, but no.
Oh, okay. Sophie's decided to come in and say, rate my outfit. I need to wear a non-school uniform tomorrow.
Wow.
I don't care. I'm busy.
And you
Does she not know it's 8 o'clock on a Thursday evening?
Yes, but apparently I'm able to talk.
Multitasking dad, I see.
This is often true as you're driving along. She says, just watch this video quickly, and holds a phone up to your head. And he's like, I can't do that. Get out of the way.
So, Mikey, how's it been on this side of the on the screen rather than in the chat?
I miss my guys in the chat. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, bless you.
It's great fun. Yeah, I was just really nervous about it before coming on. I nearly had a panic attack, but yeah, apart from that, I'm fine.
Well, you've done fine, mate. You've no need to worry. It's just chatting amongst friends.
Yeah,
It's only on the internet forever, and I've got drunk on here and took my top off, so you'll be all right.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that anymore.
Have you been flying anywhere interesting recently, Mikey?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Have you been flying anywhere recently? Interesting?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know whether it's... Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, some big towers. Was it me flying there? I'm not sure. Yeah.
You found some SD cards, right?
Yeah, found some SD cards.
Hopefully not those towers that are in the background there.
I went with a few friends that are in the chat, which is, the bears in the chat.
The towers that we all know and love, are we talking about?
Yeah, Sandy, the ones that we've...
they are good towers.
The ones when me and Frank went to, he had to take his trousers and all of his clothes off when we got to the other side because his entire legs and feet got submerged in.
Yeah, it turns out the bridge wasn't much of a bridge, more of a just kind of dunking stool, but never mind.
Difference was this time is they actually had water in the bottom of it. So that added a bit more pressure to the...
Oh, yeah. When we were there, Andy, there was water, wasn't there?
Oh,
at the bottom as well, yeah.
Yeah, scary.
There was only one that was vaguely dry for some of it. We were kind of picking our way around.
It'll only be interesting because should someone turn up, I'm not sure if they're going to move you on for flying or the fact that Frank's got his clothes off and it looks like you might be dogging.
Well,
I just don't know where that's going.
Luckily, I had come prepared and had a pair of shorts with me, so I was wearing them instead while the trousers were
We seem to have lost Greg. His internet's just gone down, I think.
I was going to say, yeah, we've
lost him. Living off grid.
Hopefully, we can get him back in a minute.
Internet has failed.
His water well's broke.
Isn't it?
He's not in the green room, is he?
He is not in the green room.
Okay.
Shall we talk about Bruce's annoying videos, or are we not giving him air?
No, we'll talk maybe next week. We're trying to stay positive this week, please.
All right then. So who has been out and having fun flying this week? Because I haven't managed it because I'm being weather wimpy.
Yeah, weather too bad.
And you must go out because you're 2 minutes away from your dog poo bin.
I haven't been out. I've been flying indoors.
I'm back. Sorry.
Hey, Greg.
We thought your water power had run out, so the internet went down.
Yeah, the stream stopped for a second.
No, it was the internet.
What's that? What was that sticker? Was that a sticker
That's
you got?
Some of the boys in the chat.
Let's have a look. Shows again. I missed it. I just caught a glimpse of it.
It's just a little crew that I fly with.
Ah, cool.
Nice.
That's a little shout out.
Bless. You can do shout outs, mate. How about do my job? Read some people out in the chat if you want, Mikey. Come on. Say hello to people in the chat.
So we got My Man TV, Dean Chapman, Drone Racer, Criminal FPV, that's my boys. MC, Numbschool, Clive, Win Davis, Fraser Spoon. Who else we got? Richard Warwick, Prelude. I did say Dean Chapman, didn't I?
Yeah.
Criminal, Fruity Cakes, Mondo, JJ Jones, Zero.
There's loads in there. Have we got any close?
Aries, that's my boy. Bruiser.
Yeah, we like Aries. We had him on for a few weeks back. He's a good lad.
Yeah, my boy Fry from France.
Hello.
And Jack was in there.
Jack was in there. Jack, have you asked out that girl with the pink hair yet?
Purple hair.
Purple?
Yeah.
If she's got
that
purple.
Was good reading of names. Mikey, you're hired. Turn you out.
See ya. 4 years. I'm gone.
Hang
Bye.
on. You have to pretend that the Earth's. Believe that the Earth's flat.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's it.
doing that.
I think. No.
So,
Definitely
Messi.
right.
So, Greg, are you still going to do analog antenna design and keep selling them and stuff? You know,
No, that analog's dead, mate. Digital's the way forward. But seriously, digital is coming forward, and a lot of guys are moving over to digital. It is if you want to come into the hobby and you want to come in at entry level and you're on a budget, you're not going to be buying a DJI set of goggles. So guys coming into the hobby are still going to come in on analog. So, you know, Menace has always been about affordable products for the hobbyist. So I think we're still good at supporting new people into the hobby, existing people in the hobby who've not moved over to digital. Plus, I think some people have tried the digital system and didn't like it, and they've gone back to analog. So I think, you know, both of them are here to stay side by side for the near future.
Yeah.
What the long-term future holds, it's hard to say.
Indeed. I know. I keep looking at the digital stuff and thinking, shall I or shall I not? I don't know what to do.
Do you know what I think I hope happens when it comes to this? As somebody who has had a lot of the DJI camera drones, and then they bring out the next one, and the one that I currently own halves in price when it comes to selling. I think when they bring out, hopefully if they bring out a second version, then the first version is good enough that the price, second-hand price of those will come down to an affordable price, just like how the HDOs have now dropped in price. Now the HDO2s have come out, so I think I would see it going off in that direction. I think, but for the foreseeable future, I think as well that there'll always be a place for analog, regardless. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't want to
If you're
change.
cheap and you can't afford to buy the new DJI goggles. Yeah,
I don't even want to look in them.
I've looked in them, and
I have to buy them if I look in them.
they're too nice.
Yeah,
it looks too good.
Tony looked through them and he felt sick.
I did actually feel sick because it was the screen was so big.
I think it was just because you were like, this is just so good.
No, the screen in the goggles is massive. Plus, it was flickering a bit
Yeah,
because of the lights, and I get sick if I go into a hospital just because the lights flickering and stuff.
Those lights flickering did make a difference for sure. Yeah.
I'd like to see it outside. Well, I'm sure we're all going to meet soon, and I'll have a go, Andy. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're down to tiny whoop size now with the new Cadex Vista.
Yeah, I saw your video this morning. We're
having I
having a cup of coffee.
I was ready to rubbish it, and I think it in some areas is better than the first one. So it's going in that direction. But I like to balance between the two, because obviously there are people that will always stick to analog. There'll be people that want to try the new stuff, and there'll people. And for me, I'm like, if it's FPV, I'm game. You know, I wanted the Bite Frost, but was advised against it for now, should I say, until there's sort of like a final version. But yeah, I'm well up for trying that, because there we go. We got Jack's here in spirit.
He's just in the chat as well. He hasn't answered my question yet.
Oh, have we got a new place to work?
That's the one. It's got to be on it. Nobody's going to beat that.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that is close.
That is so close.
Where I'm trying to look.
Right, but it's as close as the other one. It just depends which direction you go from, I suppose.
Well, that's down to Greg.
Got it. Yeah.
It's looking like two packs at the moment that we're going to have to send out.
Oh well.
Should just say here's the spirit of NJ. I built up his frame this week. I've yet to set it up, and
I still
where
need
am
to
I?
get that frame as well.
Like,
Yeah, I
it's a
wouldn't
cute little
mind one of
thing.
them.
Yeah, I
Nice
need to
and neat,
support
but
MJ.
I need to sort that out. Do the setup for it.
Yeah,
Is that
James.
the
Web will improve.
Is that the guitar? Is it guitar
That's the
pick?
guitar pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really neat that.
It does.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's a
cool
good
looking
little frame.
frame.
NJ's in Madrid tonight, working. So that's why
Oh,
it's
poor
not here.
thing.
Oh yeah, NJ working.
Yeah. What was he doing? Standing on stage, strumming some strings.
Strumming a guitar,
Oh.
getting screamed at.
Yeah,
by
innit?
fans. It's a
That's
hard
his,
old life.
that's
Poor
his job.
thing. My dog's just nicked one of my socks. Oh.
I should apologise to Bloods, who's saying it's my frame as well. It is called the guitar
I
pick,
did. Yeah, I did say.
but it's a Halo
as well.
RC product jointly developed by Bloods, and
Yeah.
these are Bloods holes. These are NJ's holes. There's 2 holes depending what size prop you like.
Yeah, you gotta love
That's it.
Chris and NJ, they're top guys.
Yeah, they're both good lads. No one bad in this hobby, is there? Any? No, oh, I've
There's a
never met
couple.
anyone horrible.
Not
I
too
know
many.
some dodgy videos floating around on YouTube I could comment on, but we're not allowed to.
No, next week you can comment on them.
Been writing paragraphs of comments in response, but okay.
You tend not to meet people in real life who are negative towards you in the hobby, but online it's like road rage, isn't it? You know.
On a completely separate note, because I believe tonight is the last night where you can pay your £9 through either BMFA or FPV UK rather than doing it through directly through the CAA. Although we're still exempt until whatever it is of February, because it's going to take some time for that information to go from the associations to the CAA, and then for them to add that into their database from the Excel spreadsheet, and then generate the numbers and then send them back to people, so that you can actually have numbers that you put on your craft before you fly. So there's still a bit of leeway, but if you wanted to pay your £9 through an association rather than directly to the CAA, then you better get on it pretty quick. I haven't actually done that because I'm not going to fly over 250 grams outside until the weather improves significantly, and I'm not going to.
God, I need some of that.
So quick
stuff.
straw poll. Who here has done that so far? I think Tony, you have, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah, I got my number
Anybody
on my
else?
quads.
Well,
I got a
Michael's
really funny email off the BMFA.
That might still on there.
It said we're currently like working on getting your opera, because if you're through the BMFA, you still haven't got your operator ID. Well, I haven't, because they sent me an email and they said, we think your date of birth is wrong, and we need it correct before.
I got that as well.
And I went on the portal and it said my birth date was 1901.
1901.
Yeah, which was
Yeah.
like,
The old git.
yeah, no, so yeah, had to change that.
Yeah, mine was the same. What are you doing?
But apparently I'm a traitor. Am I, Wayne? Come on, Wayne. No, we won't go there.
You're complicit and an accessory to fraud.
What? Was that?
Apparently,
I haven't watched the video, so
watch it and we can talk about it next week.
Okay.
Mikey, are you and Greg gonna do any more frame partnerships, or do any, like, because you said to me that you can put longer arms on here and turn it into a 6
you
inch.
can fit the physics 7-inch arms on there and fly it as a 6-inch quad. I'm 100% sure they fit.
Greg,
are we in disagreement on that, Greg? I can't. I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was changed because of the.
I did change the whole positions.
The whole
changed
positions
the
changed because they're all in line, whereas before we had them slightly slightly askew for the inner ones. But we can double check. If that's the case, we'll put it up on the website. But yeah, I'm pretty sure at the moment the Dreadnought comes as is, and it doesn't interchange with the physics. But to answer your question, as we go forward, if guys think, right, yeah, I want to do a 7-inch, 8-inch, 9-inch, whatever, we can look at doing arms for those, because that's effectively what we've done with the physics. We put it out there as a 5-inch, and then guys wanted a 6-inch, a 7-inch. They wanted a stretch X and things like that. So we were just listening to the customers and listening to the guys in the hobby and adjusting the frame accordingly to what people wanted to do with it.
What about going for a sub 250 freestyle frame for Andy, who hasn't done any of the registration? Is that come into your mind about doing something like that?
Sub 250. Do you know, ages ago, and I mean, yeah, probably 2 or 3 years ago, we were building these little 3-inch drones that were already sub 250. So I've got designs for those. So yeah, we may revisit it.
There you go.
I could help there. I've got one which I done about 2 years ago, which is sub 250, 5-inch as well.
5-inch, interesting.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, it's very, very light.
With its fuel tank.
Yes, with fuel. I think it's 190 grams.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah, so the physics arms fit.
You just done it.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it now.
There you go. That answers the question.
7-inch physics arms go on and make a 6-inch physics.
Wicked.
6-inch dreadnought.
There you go.
That's pretty cool. That is really good. Right, we're coming near to the end of the show. We've got 4 minutes left.
Has anybody got the exact weight?
I've got someone who's really close to the weight. Like,
what about you, Greg?
I've got two names. One's 0.1 over and one's 0.1 below.
So everybody's now is just going to post what they
just say it then.
Again, and then
So the question is, are you busted?
Yeah, sorry, you can't put any more in the chat. No.
You only get one go, right? Okay.
Price is Right rules.
Should we pick?
You pick, Greg. You're the boss of Menace. You're the one giving nice enough to give something away. So
go on, Mikey. Who have you got there?
I got Dean Chapman, 119.8.
Cool. And I had Criminal FPV at 120 grams.
That was the other one I had.
Yeah, because the weight was 119.9. I'll tell you what we do. We'll give out 2 packs. If both those guys get in touch, get the addresses, we'll send them a pack each. How's that sound?
Yeah, I know both these guys anyway.
Oh, really?
So they've secretly waited while you've been flying, haven't they? Or are you chatting about it, Mikey? You've been out flying and gone, yeah, this is that, and they've took your...
No, I've never told them this fight. They've not cheated.
To be fair, Mike is in the chat every week. He knows everybody, so that whoever would have known it, he would have known. So
yeah.
I think Richard Warwick might be cheating a bit there by posting that now.
Oh, he's got some lag, has he?
Yeah. He typed that an hour ago. It's just come through now.
Oh dear.
So can the winners contact us at, where can they contact us, Frank?
They can contact me if they want.
Or Mikey, if you want to put your email out on the interwebs, go for it.
I can get hold of both of those guys if you want and sort it out. So yeah, that's no problem.
Cool. Okay, well, contact Mikey if you know Mikey. Well done for playing, everyone.
Brian's now trying it as well.
Brian's just got it as well. We have to send a lot out now.
Excellent.
Happy days.
Well, thank you very much for coming on, Greg. Thanks, Mikey, for
thanks for having me. It's been real good fun.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us on the show.
Yeah, I know you've been stressing a bit, Mikey, but you've done well.
Yeah, it's not my bag, but I have actually enjoyed it, to be fair.
Yeah, this is it gets addictive as well, so be careful, because that's
if I'm ever ill, can you stand in for me, please?
Yeah, I would do this again, no problem. Yeah,
yeah, bless you.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, why don't you want to have a go calling us out as you shirks the calling us in?
No, you do it.
Everybody hit the
Where's
thumbs up
Jack?
before they go as well.
Everybody attempt to point to the window for the different names.
Oh, hang
Go,
on.
Tony, Mikey, Andy, that sort of thing.
Mine's reversed though, so it's.
I know,
it's
it's
reversed.
really
Go in the
weird.
opposite direction.
Let's have a go. So,
Right.
thank you very much, guys, for joining us this week. And thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you to all our Patreons as well. This week, we have had joining us, no, not that way, Tony. We had Mikey. We have had Greg. We have had Andy.
No.
We have had Curry. And we've been joined by me, Frank.
That one's easy for me.
That
Thank
was
you,
fun.
everyone. And good night.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you.